You can Google downloadable calendars, weekly calendars, monthly calendars, and there's a website like Calendar Labs or something, free downloads, PDFs. I use it all the time because this is what I take to when I do parties. Is I'll put my open dates on here, and so I just print up a new one, and then when it gets all funky, I print up a new one, so I don't have to worry about like keeping track of anything. Then I just have it on a clipboard, so I don't actually use like a calendar. Like I actually just print it up so it's all nice and crisp and always looks good. All right, so this is what is this? Oh, this is a month. Okay, so when I am trying to figure out where I want to go, where I want to be, if my life is out of balance, the first thing I do is I print one of these up and I block off and I create my ideal calendar. In the perfect world where I am in charge of all the comings and goings of my life, right? Which doesn't happen with 3 kids and a husband and a business, right? However, in that perfect world, where would I do my parties, right? I love doing parties on Thursday nights. That's one of my favorite nights to do parties. I don't know why. I think I always have decent attendance because I think the weekend's almost here, so people are kind of starting to relax a little bit, right? And so then I'm looking at this, and so I color coded it. And so Mondays is always the day that I work with my team and stuff like that, right? So I have it color coded to the various aspects of my life. And what you can do is just put all those aspects on the side. You can put personal and all this. This is a very broad brushstroke of your calendar. And so you don't have to worry about making it too detailed. The details are coming in the next pages. But this kind of gets your head in the game. I know that every Tuesday night I have rally. I know that all Monday morning I'm making phone calls, talking to my top leaders. I know that the first Monday night of the month I'm down in Columbus for rally. And so I those are things that are just sure in my calendar all the time. The rest of it is kind of a little bit more fluid. Where do I want those things in my calendar? So the first time I did this, I took one look at this. Well, actually, it's easier with, so this is a day. So that's a month. So this is a week, right? So the first time I did it, it was a week. Like, where do I want to make my phone calls? Where do I want to do my office work? Where do I want to date my parties? Where do I want to do these things, right? And so I mapped this out, and it was so far from my reality. Like, it could not have been further from my reality at the moment. And I was just like, well, no wonder I'm feeling out of balance and I'm feeling unhappy in my business, because I want to be doing things on this timeline and I am doing the opposite, right? And so what I did was I mapped it all out, my ideal work week, and I posted on the wall in my office. And what was interesting was over the next couple months, when I had choices, I would choose kind of within the parameters of this. And so when I have choices and I'm like, okay, I want to start coaching my leaders. So when do I want to coach them? It used to be Tuesdays. Terrible Tuesdays. That's what they called them, not me. I enjoyed them. So it used to be Tuesdays. And so I on that calendar I had Tuesdays. And so then as I'm like, okay, I start reaching out to my leaders saying, hey, I really want to do coaching calls with you guys. Are Tuesdays good for you? And they're like, yeah, Tuesdays are good. And so quickly I started being able to plug people in. Some people were like, Thursdays. I'm like, okay. So I put a couple on Thursday, but eventually I was able to get everybody over to the Tuesday that I was looking for. But if I didn't already have an idea of where I wanted these things to be in my schedule, it'd be just like, throwing darts in the dark, right? I don't know where I'm going. I don't know what I'm trying to hit. I don't know where I'm aiming. And this here's an example of like, this is our summer schedule, because it was funny when I was kind of mapping this out, I was doing the last school year schedule, and I was like, oh wait, in fall, that's all going to change, everybody's in different schools, and I'm like, so I don't even know what that schedule is going to look like yet, but I do know what this schedule is. And Tuesdays and Thursday mornings, I have to drop my daughter at tennis, take my son to swim, right? And then on Wednesday mornings, I have a Bible study that's year round. Right? And so I have these things already in my calendar, and then I start looking like, okay, when do I want to do my office work? When do I want to do my personal development work? Wednesdays is kind of like my day. I try to keep Wednesday as my day. I'm not saying I'm not working that day. I'm saying I'm doing things to fill my cup that day. Because if you're always, filling everybody else's, you got to take that time to fill yours, or you'll be drained. You're not going to be able to help everybody else. So that's kind of what I do. And sometimes filling my cup is dating my parties. Right, on a Wednesday, because that pumps me up. I'm excited if I got parties and stuff going on. So So it's important to do that, and you can do whatever suits you. So this is like a horizontal, this is a vertical. Like I said, you can go online, Google this, get free stuff. You don't have to pay a lot of money for a calendar, a planner. You don't need it, okay? You can have great time management using a notebook. You can print these up and just, when they get too trash, just throw them out the window, try again. You know, it's really not that big of a deal. But if you do not master your schedule will master you. And it's really important. It's kind of like money. If you don't tell your money where to go, you're not going to have any money, all right? It's going to go wherever it wants to go, and then you're not going to have any left, right? It's the same thing with your time. If you don't tell that time where to go, your days are going to turn into weeks, they're going to turn into months, and they're going to turn into years. And you're sitting here like, well, I've been in Tupperware this long, and I really want to be a director, but I'm a consultant. And it's like that happens if you don't pay attention to this and make sure that every day you're taking those steps to sharpen your saw. To have that personal growth, to have that growth mindset, you always have to be striving. And this will help you. It'll tell you when to do it, where to do it. And is this etched in stone? Absolutely not, okay? And so this is the summer. So on Friday afternoons, I have kid time. And on Wednesday afternoons, I have kid time. You know, those are the days I'll try and schedule things to go do stuff with them or promise to go to the park and things like that. And so it's nice to kind of know that ahead of time, and then I can bribe them with that. We talked last week about working around families in the summer, right? And so if I have that already blocked off and I know that I'm not talking to anybody at that time, I don't have a call scheduled, I don't have, you know, any other obligations, I know I could say, hey, listen, if you give me an hour on the phone right now, we can hit the park this afternoon, or we can get french fries from McDonald's. That's a big bribe in my house for my son. So, you know, I mean, so you just got, but if you don't know that, you gotta make sure you do. All right, so that